Halo's first season has been pretty controversial to say the least, with fans complaining that it strays too far from the source material. However, it looks like the final episode might set things straight as we presumably head into the biggest Covenant battle we've seen yet. So will the final episode redeem the show, or will Season 1 end with a whimper? Let's find out. First up, Halo finale takes us to the Covenant planet. The build-up to Halo's finale hasn't been the most exciting arc in the world. The plot's had some wild twists and turns, and it feels like every time things start to get better, the show somehow manages to shoot itself in the foot. Plus, even with all the supposed emotional depth, we're all not sure about the motivations of a lot of characters. However, if there's one redeeming factor for the show, it's the fact that it absolutely nails the vibe of the game during firefights. Episode 5 was a great example of this, with Chief hijacking a warthog, jumping onto a banshee, and kamikazing straight into the Covenant spirit. Truly breathtaking stuff. And it looks like we're gonna get more of the same during the finale too. The trailer, which showcases some of the story beats in the final episode, also shows tons of action between the Spartans and the Covenant. We see Chief ducking and dodging around a bunch of brutes, and Kai going full super soldier mode and running at 1 billion miles an hour to get to the escaping ship. Oh, and we also see an actual UNSC incursion into the Covenant planet to close it all out. Next, we still don't have enough firefights. Most people have mixed feelings about the first season of Halo. While it's good in some parts, especially during the fight sequence, some of the narrative decisions can be kinda baffling. For instance, we even saw Chief hook up with the Covenant spy Makee in the penultimate episode, which honestly, no one saw coming. And while everyone loves surprises, this bizarre turn of events wasn't exactly what people wanted. At the same time though, when Pablo Schreiber finally decides to put his helmet back on and actually turn into the Spartan that we've come to adore, the show turns into something else entirely. It's brutal, it's exciting, and most importantly, it's Halo. If anything, we haven't seen enough of this during Season 1, especially considering that the whole franchise is born out of this action. Of course, making these big battle scenes is super expensive, and you've only got a limited budget, but still, it almost feels like we have to wait for an eternity to get anything significant, as things just don't move fast enough. Also, the curveballs that the show throws at us kinda ruin the anticipation, and now, the Spartans' final mission doesn't make sense. If you made it this far and haven't watched the finale yet, turn around, because we're gonna dive into some spoilers here. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about what happened during the final episode. We see Makee escaping from Reach and heading towards the Covenant planet with the artifact. On the other side of the UNCS base, Halsey's planning her own escape, which is kinda interrupted by Kai, and all this results in the gang deciding to go on a suicide mission to retrieve the artifacts. Yes, the fight scenes are super dope when the Silver Team infiltrates the Covenant base, and the whole sequence with Chief and Atriox is also incredible. However, the reasoning behind the Spartans going there in the first place is really baffling. There's literally no universe in which you send your only hope for survival on a mission like this. Like, even if we put aside the fact that it's just the 4 of them against hundreds of Covenant soldiers, the chances of even getting to that planet without getting spaghettied are incredibly low. Obviously, it's a TV show, and the hero doesn't die. Well, until he kinda does. In the end, we see Chief giving up his body and letting Cortana take over to get the artifact out. Now, we know that a Season 2 is coming, so he's probably fine. But seriously, we don't understand what anyone is thinking in this show. So where's the fall of Reach? The biggest letdown on the final episode, though, was the fact that we never got to see the fall of Reach. You see, when Chief did that whole thing with Makee, we thought that he triggered the event that would set all things into motion. Plus, the artifact was sending out massive energy waves, which would have been detected by the Covenant. Everything was perfectly set up to be a super cool finale where we finally see these aliens invading Reach. Now, if you're not familiar with the games, the fall of Reach is the event that happens during Halo Reach and sets up for the first game in the series, Combat Evolved. This is a pivotal moment in Master Chief's story because as they're escaping from the Covenant fleet, humans finally stumble upon the first Halo ring. In the show, however, the UNSC decides to take the fight to the Covenant instead, which, as we've discussed before, is a bizarre direction in itself. Yes, this isn't canon and isn't following the games in terms of narrative, but it honestly felt like a cop-out with almost little to no stakes involved. Never during the entirety of the first season did we ever feel like anyone was in grave danger. On top of that, it's wild that we've gone through an entire season of Halo without actually getting to the Halo rings. And no, those versions aren't good enough. With that said, at least we got to see some actual classic Halo action despite the show's flaws. Plus, these moments could always come in the second season. We do hope, though, that they've been looking at the feedback and criticism online and make these changes in the upcoming seasons. But enough about that. Let's now talk about what else is happening in the world of entertainment. Miss Marvel star explains her superpowers. While fans are amped up to finally see Miss Marvel in action, many have also raised concerns about her superpowers. You see, in the comics, her main power is being super stretchy, but the upcoming show favors practicality and goes for Green Lantern-esque powers. According to Miss Marvel star Iman Vellani, though, her abilities are still enough to make her stand out from the rest of the MCU. Speaking during a behind-the-scenes look, the actor said that her character's cosmic powers are more of an ability to manifest light, rather than just shooting elemental energy at enemies. It's also worth noting, however, that despite fan reservations, the actual Miss Marvel co-creator Sana Amanat said that she supported the changes made to Kamala Khan's powers. So if the co-creator is happy, then who are we to complain, right? Disney Plus hints at potential plot points in Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi is easily the most anticipated Star Wars series yet. Fans are eager to see an older and wiser Ewan McGregor don his Jedi robes again. Taking place 10 years after the Revenge of the Sith, the show will navigate through a dark period in the galaxy's history where the Empire was at its full strength, and the Jedi Order was pretty much gone. Now, obviously, everyone is hoping for our first look at the Vader versus Kenobi fight at some point in the series, but Disney Plus has hinted at some other potential things in the show as well. The official Twitter account for the streaming service tweeted out a watch list to prepare for the show that includes some key arcs from the Clone Wars too. Of course, watching the Clone Wars adds some much-needed context. However, the episodes in the tweet only focus on one thing: Obi-Wan's relationship with Duchess Satine. If you don't know, she's the Jedi Master's love interest in the animated series, but we haven't seen her in any live-action Star Wars. Sadly though, she ends up dying during the Clone Wars, so this could just mean that we get some flashback scenes with her. With that said, if Disney is ready to dive into that territory, then we can be sure that Obi-Wan Kenobi is gonna explore some very dark themes, which is what most people want. Stranger Things Season 4 is super long. When news broke out about the insane budget for Stranger Things Season 4, many people questioned how anyone could even spend that much on a TV show. Well, now we have our answer, as this is easily the longest season we've had in the series. Netflix has finally released the runtimes for all the Volume 1 episodes, and guess what? They're almost like mini-movies. Seriously, most of them are well over the hour mark, with 3 episodes crossing the 90-minute mark as well, which is just incredibly long for a TV show. Like, we've had full feature films this year that were shorter than a single Stranger Things episode. Having said that, it seems like all that time is being put to good use, as early reviews claims that this is easily the biggest and most ambitious the show has ever been. And to be fair, after all that buildup we've seen over the past few seasons, it would have been disappointing if the series didn't go out with a massive bang. That's a wrap for this video. Are these new Stranger Things episodes still too long for you? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one!